lesson 4 of the Photoshop Basics course. Today we're going to be covering layers and groups. Now, layers are the most important part of Photoshop because they allow you to make changes to specific areas on the screen. And with groups, you can group those layers together to make it more manageable when you're designing. When I'm designing a website, I can have up to maybe 200 layers, so groups are an absolute lifesaver. So, let's get started. For this lesson, you need to open up your Lesson 4 PSD, and that's in your Beginner's Web Design folder. Then go to Week 1, Files, and you'll see the Photoshop Basic Lessons. In there, you'll find your Lesson 4.psd. So if you just open that, we'll be able to get started. So we'll start by opening up the PSD. So just double click on layer 4.psd. Now, this is what we're aiming for. On the left-hand side, all the layers have been reordered and grouped. So this is exactly what we're aiming for. On the right-hand side, we still need to do a few things, which you can see by the instructions. First of all, we're going to be looking at reordering the layers. Now you'll notice that the black square is behind the green circle. So on the right hand side we need to reorder these layers. And this is very similar for the picture with the text as well. So first of all we're going to be reordering the layers. To reorder the layers we need to have the Layers panel open. If you don't have it, click on Window and then Layers. Right. The first place we're going to be playing with is the shapes. Now you'll notice that the shape layer here is got the green below the black layer. So all you need to do is quickly move that up above the black and you'll see it automatically reorders it for you. Now let's do that again for the picture. So if you look for the group called Picture and Text and then look for the layer that says Hello, which stands for the actual text that's actually behind the picture. Now you'll notice the order of this. The sub-screen is above, it's further towards the top of the layers. So that means that the hello is behind it. So if you think of it like a deck of cards, the hello is below the sub-screen. Again, all we need to do is click on the word. Try not to click on any of the colours or the vector mask, but click on the word here. Click and drag, move up, and then let go. So you can see how easy it is to reorder the layers. And again, I can just quickly drag the circle down below the square to make it below. Now, if you ever see this line here, don't worry, it's not a line that would appear on the final design. It's just showing that you've got that layer selected. If I click on the square, you'll see the same idea. If I've got this selected here, which is called the vector mask, you'll see a line appear. So again, I'm just going to reorder these layers. So I'm going to click, drag, and then let go. Very easy. Next, we want to group our layers. Now, grouping our layers is very important because it allows you to keep your layers panel nice and manageable. Like I said before, when you're making websites, you tend to have hundreds of layers that gradually build up and build up. Now, if you don't name and group those layers, it's going to get really unmanageable. First of all, you need to click on the first layer in the list here, which for us is Contact. Now, when you want to group layers together, you want to select them, and then you can use a shortcut key to group them all together. Now, if I want to select all these layers in between, all I do is hold down Shift and then click on the last layer that I want to group. If you want to group layers individually, hold down Control and you can click them individually, like so. Okay? Now that you've got the layers selected, you're ready to group them. And you can do this with a very easy shortcut key, which is for PC users Control and G, and for Mac users Command and G. So just hit Control or Command and G, and instantly you'll see all the layers grouped up. It's a very easy way to group the layers and keep it much more manageable. Now, the next important thing I have to tell you is you must name your layers and also name your groups. So we're going to name this group Nav. Double click on it and you'll see it highlight, and just type in the name of the group that you want. Press enter to finish. And that's it. So we've looked at reordering the layers, we reordered the layers of the picture, and lastly we grouped layers together to make it much more manageable. So that's everything for layers and groups. Next in the series we're going to be looking at moving and resizing.